right on page 108 to 110 is where positivism begins in chapter 5. The positivist position rejects essences, intuition, and inner causes that cannot be measured. This educational philosophy rejects beliefs about mind, spirit, and consciousness, and holds that all reality can be explained by laws of matter and motion. So they would have a hard time seeing past the actual hands-on type things you can touch. Positivism limits knowledge to statements of observable facts based on sense perceptions and the investigation of objective reality. So it's all about the real here and now kinds of stuff. Because positivist teachers are highly focused on teaching statements based on observable facts, they can sometimes overlook student engagement because a lot of the students, I think research says, as far as factual learners go, about 70 to 75% of the population are factual learners. But what about those other kids who they don't get engaged because the theoretical learners who don't want the plug and chug of that type of information, they want to think outside the box and have the opportunity to do so. It is difficult to balance the need to provide students with exact and precise information while also allowing students an opportunity to explore and make sense of ideas on their own, because we really, if we are a positivist teacher, we really don't want kids to think anything but reality. That's where we have to be. Direct instruction is a teaching and learning approach that requires teachers to clearly and precisely identify and state what a student needs to learn and master, as well as to restate this expectation through different media and assignments. A lot of direct instruction is a whole group type instruction. It places the responsibility for clear, precise expectations on the teachers, so we have to decide those. It's our responsibility, once again, because this is teacher-centered. Once a teacher has identified precisely what students should know and be able to do, the teacher is expected to clearly describe to students exactly what they should know and be able to do. So it's our responsibility to first of all, determine what the student needs to know and then actually tell them that. If you look at that in the big scheme, I can see part of that, but I'm not sure to the extent that this group believes that happens. Teachers are encouraged to use repetition, to have students practice and practice again, recite and recite again, whatever's to be learned over and over and over and over. And can you imagine the theoretical students in your class who want things outside the box, who doesn't want to see it? The 1 leads to 2, leads to 3, leads to 4. Now let's say it again. 1 leads to 2, leads to 3, leads to 4, and on and on and on. That would be monotonous for them. Teachers are further encouraged to have students repeat the main ideas of the instruction by using different media, oral recitation, writing, restating, drawing, and so forth. That's not so bad. I could see that. If all knowledge is clear, precise, and the same for all, then teachers can be expected to require all students to learn the same knowledge. And this is stuff that the school system actually encourages, but we're not building parts or robots. We are talking about human beings, and what works for me may not work for you, which may not work with one of your brothers or sisters in the class. Positivism requires schools to develop content standards that represent the best understandings of experts who've already uncovered important ideas based on their own observation and measurement, so they would want to make sure that something had been tried and true before teachers use it. I'm not sure how they would feel about my little experiment with games and so forth. I had great success with it, but I'm not sure positivism would encourage that. They want something that's already been researched and already been tried and true by fire, and to say only do this because we know this works. But if we do that, I wonder if we as a society would be where we're at with the advancements. What if the first computer was made and said, okay, that's good enough, it does what we want it to do, and they had never made it smaller, portable, iOSs would have never come in, those kind of thoughts. Testing students' acquisitions of content standards is a valued activity for the positivist educators. Test, 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 and more tests. That sounds very familiar. Creating objective tests that are free from bias is critical to educators. A, B, C, D type things. It's nothing with a rubric that I would have to decide and get clear vision of what is an organized paper, what does it consist of. It would be A, B, C, D type. That way, if you mark A and it's wrong for everybody. Teaching students acquisition of content standards is a valued activity for the positivist educator. Creating objective tests. There is a set of truths that students should master and understand according to a clear set of criteria. That would be the standards, and this is exactly what they're supposed to know and understand and be able to apply. The only way to ensure that such knowledge has been attained and understood is to test all students according to the same objective set of criteria. So the same materials going out, the same tests are given, the same assessments are given, the same instruction is given, but are the students all the same? That's where the problem lies.